Hello students, in this video I am going to discuss about electric dipole and dipole moment. So what is electric dipole? So definition of electric dipole is a pair of equal and opposite charges separated by a small distance. So in a dipole, di means two, pole means end. It means electric dipole is a unit of charges with two ends. In the dipole, one of the charge is positive and other is negative. They are separated by a distance 2L. So what is the reason to take length of the dipole 2L? Sometimes in calculation or in a certain derivation, we need to take half length of the dipole. If length of the dipole is taken L, the half length of the dipole is going to be L by 2. And calculation with a fraction is a bit difficult than with a whole number. So that is why we take length of the dipole 2L. Now, strength of the dipole can be represented by its dipole moment. A dipole can be strong, can experience a strong torque. How it can behave in the presence of an external field. All these depend on the dipole moment of the dipole. So dipole moment is actually inherent property of the dipole which decides its behavior in different situations. So dipole moment of the dipole is defined as product of charge and distance of separation between the charges. So what can be the dipole moment of this dipole, whose charge is Q and separation between charges twice L. So dipole moment of the dipole can be written as vector P is equal to Q into 2L, that is length of the dipole, or vector P is equal to 2QL. So this is the formula for dipole moment of the dipole. So from this formula you can see SI, what can be SI unit of the dipole moment? Unit of charge, that is coulomb, and unit of length is meter. So coulomb meter is the SI unit of dipole moment. Now what type of quantity this dipole moment is? Dipole moment is a vector quantity. If it is a vector, what can be its direction? Direction of the dipole moment is from negative charge of the dipole towards positive charge. In the figure you can see dipole moment P as a vector is shown from negative charge of the dipole towards positive. What can be an ideal dipole? In what situation we can say the dipole is an ideal dipole? So for an electric dipole to be ideal, its length should be very small. Here you can see 2L is tending to 0, or the charge of the dipole should tend to infinity, so that the dipole moment of the dipole is a finite quantity, or it should have a finite value. In that situation we can call an electric dipole an ideal dipole. So students, an electric dipole is a system of two equal and opposite charges separated by certain distance. So what is dipole field? Dipole field is the electric field in the nearby space due to presence of an electric dipole. So here you can see in the figure, a dipole has two axes. A line joining two charges of the dipole is called axis of the dipole, and a perpendicular bisector of the electric dipole is called equatorial axis of the dipole. So due to a dipole, electric field can be determined at a point on the axis of the dipole. If some point is lying on the axis of the dipole on either side of the charge, what can be the value of that electric field? This is called axial electric field of the dipole. If the point where electric field is to be determined is lying on the equatorial axis of the dipole, suppose point of observation P is here, this is called equatorial electric field of the dipole. One more possibility is there. If the point is neither lying on the axis of the dipole nor on the equatorial axis, so it can lie somewhere else, then also there is going to be a certain value of the electric field in the presence of this electric dipole. So we can find electric field in the presence of a dipole in three different conditions, either on the axial position of the dipole, on the equatorial position of the dipole, or at some general point. So in this part of the video, we are going to find what is the electric field on the axial position of the dipole. Here in the figure you can see a dipole, its negative charge and positive charge. Length of the dipole is